Well, hello YouTube. I bet you did not expect this, did you? Two of us and somebody else on a separate channel doing something weird, which involves a lot of talking. So,
Yeah.
what's going on? What are we doing here?
So I think we're just sort of trying to get another avenue of media going, and I think our focus is going to be on, I guess, the UK time attack scene to start with. Just sort of deep diving into the drivers, the cars, the histories, and just sort of making a podcast to celebrate the little guys, I suppose.
The little guys.
I'll see.
Not so little.
First-
Championship winning drivers to start
Yeah.
with. By the way, this is a pilot. We have no idea what we're doing. We have never done it before. We don't have a script. We did kind of brainstorm roughly what we want to ask, and literally he just said all those things.
Yeah, I can't want to write things.
So it's going to be just one of those, and see what happens, because
Yes.
you guys seem to enjoy watching people talk and do things. So before we go into any other details, can we introduce Mr. David Ward,
David Ward.
the current championship winner in Pocket Rocket Forced Induction 2023, the champion. Hello.
Thank you for having me. I only came to scam the car and not sit here in front of all these cameras of you two guys. But,
Well, by the way, you don't have to look in the camera. You can just sort of look at us or whatever. Oh, actually, yeah, there is another one. So we have quite a few cameras. So yeah, hopefully you'll get plenty of angles. All right, so tell us.
what would you like to know?
Well, for starters, why time attack?
I think it was because I was already in the modified scene of the minis back in 2006 or so, and I would need to go back and have a look. But I ran a Mini R53, so that was the supercharged Mini, and we were always modifying that car and sort of pushing the limits, and it was pretty well known, I think. And I started doing a lot of drag racing to begin with, running 13 seconds on the quarter mile. Could never dip into the 12 zones, like 110, which isn't bad. But did that for a long time, just drag racing, going to car park, retail parks, and that kind of stuff.
I think
we've
all
all
done
done
that.
that. And then having some spirited driving on country roads, and then someone said, "Oh, you should go and do time attack." So in 2009, we did the last event of that year at Snetterton, and we were just, what was it then? It was like, was it called One Hit Wonder or something?
Yeah, One Hit Wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that name does exist, because it's not something I came up with.
Yeah.
Well, can't really claim. By the way, the sound right now is probably much better, because for the first introduction period, I forgot to switch the sound recorder on. So the only sound from the beginning was coming on of those cameras, which is absolutely fine. It's a pilot. We're learning, but now it's all working. We have this little fluffy dead cat thing.
So did time attack, and always been interested in modifying cars and that scene, and seeing the cars there at that time as well was pretty incredible.
How long have you done time attack for?
So I did.
When was your first year?
My first full season was 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
So 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus. So
Long time
you're as
Veteran.
you're as bad as what's his name?
Johnny Fletcher.
Johnny Fletcher. Yeah.
But
well,
Fletcher has been like
2008, I think.
No, he was after. I was before Fletcher.
Oh, really?
But
But
Fletcher,
he's done it consecutively
Yeah,
for 14 years.
I had to.
I mean, Johnny, if you're watching this,
hit
hit us up. We want you on here, because we want you to literally go year by year and tell us where it went wrong for time attack. Because we heard it used to be awesome. It still is. It still is.
So you started in the Mini.
Yeah.
I remember you did a year in an EK Civic.
I did. Before then, I did a year in a Civic EG with a K-swap.
More.
And I had a scratch to which I'd always wanted a Civic EG with K-swap. And so, yeah, I did it. I did a season in that, and then I got an opportunity to have an EK, so I had 2 Civics.
Wow.
You can never have too many.
Oh well.
So would you say you were probably one of the first with the K-swap?
No, there was certainly a few more. I don't know if you remember Romain. He had
The CRX with the release.
Is it the guy who does tuning for?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, same guy. Yeah. He had a CRX, which I think he binned at Castle Coon.
That's right. No, it was
Knockhill.
Knockhill. Yeah, he went.
I remember the video.
He went over the jump at on the curb on the last hairpin on the
I
barrel.
remember watching the video.
And I think he damaged. I think talking to him afterwards, he'd damaged the chassis. So, but yeah, in that era, you had some really incredible cars, and I was never super competitive, if you like, but I liked that modifying scene, the people in the paddock. We're all from the same kind of cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Like, we liked modifying cars, and Time Attack allows you to do that with the rules that it has, and it's pretty relaxed, I think.
It is pretty relaxed. It's one of the reasons I like about Time Attack is obviously like most race series, we do have our restrictions of what we can do, but those restrictions are mostly down to whether you need an interior or not, a roll cage, flat floor, and basically how far the aero protrudes from the chassis, as it would be. But like you essentially you can build a car your way, and there's a class that the car will slot into. It's not like a race series where you've got to buy a specific spec list of parts from a specific supplier.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, especially for us, especially this year, it's been easier to approach people for parts and stuff, because we're approaching people for parts to improve the car and take it to the next level.
Well, that's the thing with Time Attack. It's I don't want to offend anyone at this point in time, but it's for builders. It's the championship for builders, because yes, other series you can build your car, but because you're so restricted with regulations and stuff like that, in essence, it's just a few bolt-ons, and then you're sort of keeping it to whatever spec they want you to keep. With Time Attack, you can let your creativity flow. You can build the car to whatever. So it definitely does attract real builders. Like,
obviously, going back for your position a bit. So, how do you think the paddock compares now, like this year, season just ended, compared to the years previous in terms of built?
For those of you watching it in the future, because we're so popular, this is 2023. So David wanted that season 2023. So this is what we're talking about. Just in case.
I think it's interesting because you look back at. I was looking back at the times I was running, even in the Civic and the Minis, and even the other competitors, and even some of the new entries that come in. Connor's picked up as well.
Connor Craven.
Yeah, Connor Craven's quite quick as well. I know Mark Human, that lot have been around for a while, but there's some new people that have come in and they're beating those times.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the main differences. I think
there were a lot of records broken this year.
Yeah.
Definitely, almost every single track.
Yeah,
100%.
but again, that's just as tuning technology comes the way it has. We are now getting turbos which are bigger, but also spooling up quicker.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
but it's not all about power. I think.
Yes, power.
I think sometimes you can
compensate with power.
You can go down.
I'm joking. Clearly,
you can go down the wrong route.
Something
on that.
Yeah.
Like you look at Hume, like he's in his K20 Civic. Sorry, in his Clio.
It's a Civic. He would not be upset if it was a Civic.
And I think he's done really well.
Oh, he's done incredibly well. But he's running quite a bit of power through that
But
engine.
you can see the cars handling, and
Oh,
think
yeah.
and I think the maybe the drivers in general have just improved as well, and that's helped push things forward. The one thing I do miss the most is all of the pro cars that used to be in it. CPR racing.
Yeah, that's
boys.
definitely the word. It's like literally we have Norris, Simon Norris in Extreme, and he's literally been the only one there. And then we obviously have Pro Class, the likes of Tegiva, the NSX, and a few other people. But you kind of missing this sort of top echelon of people, you know, the really, really fast cars. And ultimately, this is what people really want to see, the extremely fast cars. As fun as it is to watch sort of Pocket Rocket class or, you know, the Club and Retro, this is not the essence. The essence is like this top, completely bonkers sort of machines that sort of eliminate anything and stuff. And unfortunately, we don't have that. I personally think it could be because of the lack of live stream. They're not motivated enough.
Well, I just think if you go back, I mean, I've been following it since 2007, and I just think back, if you look at it back then, even go for like the old archives and stuff, there's a lot more, in my opinion, there's a lot more cars entered that were been built by specific tuning shops, specific garages, you know, they built the car in house. And I just kind of feel, especially this year, a lot of the paddock is, obviously not taken away from the fact, but I just feel like the drivers that haven't built the cars, they've had someone else build them for them, they've chucked money at it. You could probably think of it both ways, but I just think Time Attack should be about the tuning shops and the fabrication shops going head to head. You know, they're built, you know, a bit like yours. You know, obviously you're doing all your aero and stuff. You know, you are essentially you're part of that crowd of the built not bought crowd.
Yeah. Last year, the Mini was built by Sussex Road and Race. So they put the cage in, they did the engine work, and the plan was I got the car 2 days before Brands Hatch. Right. And we were thinking like, is this going to be competitive? And it was. So I think that side of it is fine, because I don't have a lot of time to build that.
No, I suppose that's...
I did say if it was competitive, then it gives you that spur on to say, okay, what's next? Right. Can I do aero? Can I fabricate stuff? And there's some things that I'm quite happy to step into, but there's other things I will not touch. I'll hand over to people that know what they're doing. Won't touch engines or anything like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the same thing with me, really, like engine work. I've never actually built a full engine myself. I've done bits and pieces, camshafts.
Would you like to, though?
That's the thing. I probably would, but it's the kind of skill that it's not rocket science. Of course, anyone can do it. But it's the kind of skill that you need certain experience with. You need to build a few engines to know how everything goes, because there's so many silly mistakes. And yes, I always say everything is online, everything you can ask people, but certain things you don't even know if you need to ask. So for example, little things like, I don't know, a gap in the rings or whatever. Not only I don't have the tools cost a lot of money, but even those little things, you know, to me, I would be like, right, this looks fine, you'll assemble it, and then this is not how it's supposed to be. And because you don't know what to even ask people how to help you with it, I'm more worried that, you know, it'll cost me more money building it myself, not only time and everything, but if it goes wrong, I may as well, So those things, for example, like tuning, I really want to get into sort of tuning and be on the laptops. So I'm not relying on Paul West or whoever else is mapping the car to be at the events all the time and supporting us. And by the way, Paul West, brilliant. Every time he was there, always on the laptop. But still, if you want to do a track day and I want to tinker, you know, I can't. I don't have the knowledge. So,
No.
But certain things you can absolutely make yourself, like all this aero work, the carbon work. None of that really requires any sort of particular skill. Just sort of trying it and watch some weird guy on YouTube making it, and it's easy.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I'd seen it done before on a couple of channels, but I think you were one of the first that kind of was like, okay, this is how. You don't need the mold. You don't need to do infusion. It was one of the first ones where I saw like, oh, you can just lay this over there and just paint this stuff on, and then pop it on. I know I'm simplifying it, but that was like, oh, okay, let's give that a go.
Well, the thing is, I didn't create that. It's not like it's my idea. You make it sound like I've created, I've seen somebody else do that, and I was like, right, this is easy, and it really does work, and you can get really good results without investing massive amounts of money into molds and all these sort of expensive things.
But now I'm building molds. So it goes on,
now I'm
doesn't
building
it?
molds. Yeah, you kind of, it's stepping stones. You start from small, and then it's a slippery slope, isn't it? You start with something small, and then you kind of, as soon as you see the first results, you're like, okay, I can do this, and then you like want more and more and more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are taking that approach as well, because it's, weight is free in some cases.
Yeah.
So I think Dave is going through and doing his full carbon mini.
Orange Day was like
Orange Dave.
I know. I speak with him on WhatsApp.
So he's done all that in his small shed. So it's like fair play. There's a lot of stuff going on like that at the moment. So hopefully 2024 is going to be a banger.
I think people too, when it going back to the carbon, I think too, people have hung up on it being imperfect. I remember when you did all the carbon work on the micro earlier this year, and it looks great in pictures, and then when people come up and sort of saw it and touched it, they go, it doesn't. But it had like the snake skin sort of touch to it, and I was like, well, it's still carbon fibre, and it's still a fraction of the weight of the original part. It's just like but it was also a huge fraction of the cost it would have been.
It's
to
exactly
make the moulds and have it done properly impregnated and stuff. And it did the job. It made the car lighter for
and it's functional, and it's stood the test of time, and you had a few. Yeah,
still going strong.
It's a really good example is like we all watch, maybe not watch, but we all seen supermodels and stuff like that, and all pretty women on Instagram, but we all married to normal ladies, So it's the same thing. Yes, carbon can be this super shiny, super sort of deep, whatever, but the amount of time and effort to get it to that stage is just insane. And a lot of the time, especially for a race car, competition car, you don't really need that. So you can cut those kind of corners. And if looks are important to you, then just spend the time and you can achieve that. But
you can have the lightweight and the looks.
Yeah,
it just costs a lot of money.
Yeah. So.
That's right. He edited Dead Space out.
Yeah. I think it's going well. All right. So what are your plans for 2024? Because obviously we know that you're making your Mini more carbon, and you're essentially concentrating on the aero side of things.
So,
and I know we cannot go into too many details because somebody high up designed it all for you.
Yeah. So I think after the success and being able to battle and be competitive, especially with Taylor, who's a good driver and had a really good car that season, and then this year the plan was to have it all done this year, but with time constraints, etc., and it just wasn't going to happen. I was able to do a few things and learn. So I've learned from some mistakes which are going into the new stuff. But yeah, I had Andrew Brilliant from A&B Aero come over. He did a scan of the car, took it away, strapped on some of his ideas.
Did you literally commission him to come all the way from Japan just for you?
Well,
King
there was
baller. No wonder he won the championship. Jesus.
It was. I think he had a couple of other customers as well that he was dealing with. So
for those that don't know, who is Andrew Brilliant?
So Andrew Brilliant is
brilliant.
It's in the name.
Yeah.
He's worked on a couple of the top time attack cars in World Time Attack.
Pretty much all of them, actually.
And also in the UK.
Yeah.
So Tegua's NSX, he's done the work on that, and also
Simon Norris.
And I think there's a couple of other people up and down the paddock that he's helped advise on. So he's really knowledgeable around that, and he's successful in what he does. There's a couple of European hill climb cars that you may have seen. They've been very successful. So yeah, hopefully I don't let the A&B team down with it.
Well,
We'll
you
see what
can
happens.
always claim it's the workmanship that sort of let him down, not
That's it.
not
Like,
his designs.
yeah,
It's your
that's
inability to make carbon
That's it.
if it doesn't work. But I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine.
But I've gone that route because with the way the Mini is and on the N14 engine and even the N18, it's not really built to take huge amounts of power without a huge amount of
Yeah.
money and effort into it. And yeah, I thought, well, I can go down the handling route. Yeah, we got the suspension on the car and still working out how to set that up. But now it's like, okay, well, how else do you go quicker? Drive quicker, but does aero help? So I think next year's it's going to be a bit of a point to make for myself more than anything, to say, is this aero stuff kind of
Worth
black magic? Is it worth it? Because
Or you actually need to learn how to drive.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I've spent on the aero, including all of the materials and stuff, and the work that Andrew Brilliant's done, is probably going to be about the same as what I would have needed to go big power on a. And then there's the reliability of when you
Yeah.
go big power.
Yeah.
We've all seen it.
Oh yeah.
You've experienced
Yeah,
it
yeah.
first
The more power you have, the more
Yeah.
issues you uncover.
So is aero the answer? I don't know. Watch this space.
Well, it kind of works for the Formula One boys.
We're not Formula One.
Yeah, but that was my kind of another question, because obviously mine is a hatchback, Eden's Micro is a hatchback, your Micro is a hatchback, and obviously
Mini.
you, huh?
Mini.
The Mini is the hatchback.
Yeah, what did I say?
Micro.
Oh, yeah, Mini. Yeah, sorry. So your Mini is a hatchback, and obviously it's been designed by the master himself, Andrew Brilliant. Is it even worth sort of tinkering with hatchback aero? I mean, can you even get it to sort of reasonable spec? I mean, obviously you can't go into detail, whatever. I'm just kind of wanna say to other people, so it's not just for Formula One cars that aero is important, that you can achieve it, or can you achieve it on a sort of a normal saloon or hatchback?
Well, yeah, I guess when you run things through the CFD and you're seeing the numbers, the numbers that we're seeing are 150 mile an hour off the CFD. I don't know whether the Mini will ever get to 150 mile an hour, but it's if it ever does, it's nice to know it can. Will be about just under 1,000 kilos of downforce. So
That's a crazy number. That is a crazy number.
but if you look at the way that aero works, it squares as it goes up, so it's exponential the quicker you go. So you could divide that.
So at
by-
130, you'd be like at 500, which is still a crazy number.
Yeah, and most of the corners that you look on the telemetry and even on the videos, you're doing like, I think that the fastest track is Donington Park, because your high average speed all the way through there. You're doing like 80, 90 through to the corners. Craner's doing about 110. So that's where you're going to see it really come into effect.
I did feel it last year. Definitely it was more noticeable, because last year I ran a flat floor on my car and I was able to do Craner's 125.
Right.
This year I struggled to do 123, even though the car is lighter, has more power, wider tires and wheels. I struggled. It was just maybe because I was more scared, but it felt more effortless to reach that speed through the corner last year. Yeah, I think they dropped. I think they dropped. The older you get, the more you kind of worried about, if you have kids and this and that, and kind of like, oh, do I need to go this fast? Yeah. Well, it's great. It's great. It's
We'll see how it goes. It's something that I still can't get my head around. Like, you just see numbers on a spreadsheet and you're like, okay, big number equals good.
Yeah.
But then it's, how does that translate into the real world? For you see Norris and Tegura and those, and even Gobstopper, like AMB did the work on the Gobstopper. You see those cars performing very well, but it's like, what is this going to do?
Mini, yeah.
Yeah, to a Mini.
It's crazy because I've seen videos like Simon Norris. Obviously, it's incredibly fast machine, and the video from Brands Hatch when he was going, it's so just effortless. It just glides through corners at those speeds, and almost feels like the video is sped up, which it isn't. But I just can't really contemplate the sort of, because obviously my car is fairly fast, but I don't have the same. It's not as spotted because obviously mine is just all hand built by this. Nothing has been scanned or
But the fundamentals are there.
it
It's a
is, but
very different-
I don't know what's it doing. And from my perspective, maybe because you get used to the car and you kind of, it feels to you different when you look at somebody else's car. It always seems to be faster or better, or I don't know. So yeah, it's a really weird one, isn't it? And to realize that those cars can actually generate a massive amount of downforce, just normal saloons or hatchbacks. So it doesn't even have to be a Formula type sort of F3, F2, whatever car to generate downforce. So it's definitely something quite new, isn't it? It's even 5-6 years ago, not many people were concentrating on the aero because I think it was reserved for really sort of high-end.
Technology's just making it more and more accessible. As obviously we're finding out by 3D scanning. Finding cars
through this scan at home, run it through the program, you know what's what, and then you ask a few questions to the right people, read some books, and you make your own parts from carbon fiber.
So is there theoretically a perfect balance of power and aero? Can you can you have too much aero and not enough power?
Yeah, like that's the downforce to drag, isn't it? It's like that ratio.
Too much downforce, it means you need more power to push through it. Coming back to you saying, oh, power is not everything. Yes, it is. If you have enough downforce.
Okay.
If you have enough downforce to push through it, then yeah.
But I think in the class that I'm running.
Of course. No. It's a common sort of knowledge. It's a common saying. People say, drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow, because it's just more rewarding to drive a slow car really, really fast, because you can be on the limit for longer than a really fast car. That's why I don't really accept or like this bought really super duper fast cars like all these Porsche GT3 RSs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would not be upset if somebody gave me one for Christmas, wink wink, but it's one of those, is like I would not be able to drive it at 100%, because it's just not only they're expensive to fix if something goes wrong, but also it's your ability, they're just too fast. All those modern cars are just way too fast for us.
It's why the Red Civic was a fucking cracking car.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 130 horsepower.
At its absolute limit,
and
I had a blast.
Yes, and I did it too, both rounds at Cadwell, and I think I literally used brakes twice throughout the whole lap. Just everywhere else is just you're full on it, and it was just you come out, you like with a huge smile, you're like, yes. Amazing.
Is the Red Civic gone now? Is it
it's not gone,
not
but
gone.
it's badly wounded.
Yeah.
Is that when you drove it on the wall?
No,
No.
I made it better. It was a small scratch.
That crashed it. I built the Civic during COVID with a couple of friends.
Here's the picture of the Civic, just so you know.
Yeah, and the whole thought process of building the car was that it was a car that would be sat outside. It would be literally on the button. So if he was having a bad day, well, Ed was had a bad day. It was taxed, MOT, insured, and obviously Cadwell's 20 minutes from here. You can get the keys, nip to Cadwell in 20 minutes, go do a 2-hour evening session at Cadwell for 70 quid, take your frustration out, bring it back. And I let the car out, and unfortunately it didn't come back in one piece. But again, I'm not angry or moan about it, because the whole deal with that car is you bend it, you mend it. And the guy who I lent the car to, true to his word, has bought a replacement shell, so it will live again. A bit more power.
As you do.
It was a cracking car. You could literally drive the absolute nuts off it, and it was so stable. You momentum, you chuck it into a corner, and it was a cracking car. But yeah, it just goes 130 horsepower. And it was doing 143s, 144s around Cadwell.
I think 143 is my best in it. Yes.
Which is for the power output.
Funny enough, this is identical time I did in first iteration of my Clio, running low boost, and that was running 230 horsepower. So literally 100 horsepower less,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing the same.
For the-
Yes, you can argue, I have more experience now, I know the truck better, but I mean, 100 horsepower less at the same time, it was incredible. That thing was blew my mind. It was just like so much fun.
It'll lift it.
It'll make it come
fight
back.
another day.
It'll make it
live
come
fight
back,
another day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the shell's scrap. But we will resell it, and I think we're going to put a bit more finesse into this one. So we're not going to paint it with post box red paint.
Really?
But-
I think it's like the unique point.
It
It's
did have
just-
its charm.
Yeah, it just literally just with the roller. Because when I scratched it, well, Bandit scratched it, whatever that joke
when you stove the rear quarter.
yeah, now I have to. Now I have to go to the B&Q and find a roller and buy the deluxe paint.
It's about to just shit on that.
It's fine. We have other cameras.
You didn't do a sink clap either.
That's fine. You see cleaner.
You're doing all the lingo stuff with cameras.
Well, basically, you do a big clap, and then you'll see that the audio spike, and it'll just make it easy to sync that, and that, and that.
I usually do when I sing the videos is when I close the door in the car, because that makes nice little spike.
So I'm just doing stuff on my mobile.
All right, ready to go. Right.
So power's not the focus next year of the Mini. Is power going to be the next stage after you've got the aero sorted, or are you going to leave the car with a balance that you're going to finish with?
Actually, we're talking about power. I don't even know how much power it's running. Can you run us briefly through the spec of the car, just so people who don't
I'm
know?
pretty sure it makes less power than my Micro, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a Mini.
Yeah, Mini. So it's a Mini N14 engine. So there's two variants of that. There's the
It's a supercharged one.
no. So the N14 and the N18, they're both turbos.
No.
And they're based on a Prince engine. And I don't know why BMW did this, but it's the same engine that runs in a Peugeot as well. So
Interesting.
they all have the same def repel issues that they have with the timing chain and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, but this one's it was forged engine. Nothing's done with the head or anything like that. It's stock head, and he's just running a hybrid turbo in there, and it's just over 300 brake horsepower.
Okay, that's a
So-
decent number. What about the weight? How much is the weight?
1080 with me in it and some fuel.
Wow, that is actually really light. I was expecting it to be around 1200. I mean, no wonder you go there so fast. I mean, you know how to drive, clearly. But it was just, I was expecting it to be heavy, because it looks heavy. It just looks like it's a big, it's a BMW, essentially. So it just looks beefy. But 1080 with you in it, I mean, you were 80, so that's...
I wish I was 80, 65. 60.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Outside?
Yeah. So that's from all the karting.
Saying that?
Yeah. But yeah, it's lightweight, got a bit of power, and it handles quite well. So, what more could you want from a car?
More aero.
More aero, yeah.
More power, maybe.
I don't know whether the Mini could take it though. I've seen Raf has got, I think he's about 400. He's got the bigger turbo on his
Yeah,
and stuff.
that's
And
the yellow and purple.
yeah, the Ethics guy.
Yeah, the guy I took out is at
Oh, you
Donington.
Oh yeah,
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 I'm
you
trying
tried
to
to
chase you.
trying to follow me through. Yeah, he's on speed traps. He's like way up there. But I think
You make up in corners.
make up corners on the brakes. But yeah, maybe it's his first year in Time Tech, and that's a good thing. So he's got a target to aim for next year when he goes back. But yeah, can you have too much power in these small front wheel drive cars? I don't know. I've never experienced it. What are you at? You're like 6.
No. Well, it was mapped to 460, which was still on fairly low boost. And since then we upped the boost a little bit, but we've never took it onto the dyno. But it feels faster. So I would say we're just under 500, so 480, maybe 500 on a good day, and it's taking it really well. I don't really experience much sort of torque steer or wheel spin or whatever. I mean, you've driven.
I enjoyed really well at Cadwell. I was surprised.
For the amount of power you have in the front wheel drive, it takes it like a champ. So it's almost like it can take a little bit more. I mean, obviously you need all these sort of progressive shifting strategies and boost by gear and all that stuff. So you can't have 600 horsepower in the first couple of gears.
Yeah.
Pointless. So, first 3 gears definitely need to be limited, heavily limited with boost, and then 4th, 5th, 6th, you can definitely put even more power. Because I mean, Michael Taylor,
I mean, when
he runs
around, up the 3rd gear is pretty mellow, and as soon as you hit the 4th gear, it's like I was watching the Howtech dash as I was going around. It's like get like 16 psi or whatever. Then you go to 4th gear and it shoots up to like 20 odd psi. I was like, it puts the power down so well, so well.
Yeah. So there is a limit, but we haven't really found that limit. I think your engine will go before the chassis will struggle.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, yours is quite a developed chassis because you've had the cage put in the clear. What's yours like the micro? That's got some numbers on it, hasn't it?
Yes, the micro at 16 psi does 320 horsepower. It's
So more than the Mini.
Yeah, it's square torque as well, so it's 320 horsepower, 320 torque. Without me 870, with me about 2 ton.
Well, it would be literally. That's the reason why you were so even. It's the same power.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I think I think the reason I've not been that competitive in the car this year is because I've been battling understeer all year, and then I developed the roll centre correction after reading Nigel Pinder's post about
And
it.
you know what? We'll leave a link in the description. It's our podcast. It's his product. We can't promote it. So go down there and buy it if you have a micro.
And then the thing that surprised me the most is at Snetterton I fitted the roll centre adjustment kit just to sort of see how the car went, and to begin with the car was extremely skittish, and I think it's because I knocked the E-Pass assist up too high, and it just made the steering really sort of light and skittish, but to be 0.04 seconds off you at the end of that session.
Yeah.
And then did you have you watched the vlog yet with the lap?
I have. I was crying.
Yeah, and the first lap and like at 0.4 seconds off you, they had those 2 massive moments. So, if I didn't have those 2 moments, I probably could have been top of the leaderboards.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, coulda,
woulda,
But that's the thing. I think like you seen you develop that car and be mid-pack, but then where you were on that day, it was like awesome. We're gonna have a battle now.
It's good.
Because when I joined Time Attack, it was 2020, I think, first time I did. You were dead lost right at the bottom.
Oh, that's what I was.
1.3 supercharged, but you were probably the happiest in the paddock. You were just
like, and I was the happiest bloke in that paddock, guaranteed.
Yeah, 100%.
I was having an absolute blast. But that first year when I had the 1.3 with the AliExpress supercharged and it doing 123 horsepower, and then I technically won at Cadwell the first round, the first single ride entry, only because I'd always set Andrew Kime Boldy as sort of like a date him if you'd beef up times, and Stuart Summers. And when I saw myself coming out like 5 seconds quicker than Andrew Kime, I thought, oh, this 123 horsepower micro is absolutely brilliant. Unbeknown to me is that I was the only one that brought rain tyres and everyone else was still on slicks, and that was the reason. And to be fair, it hauled it down to the point they actually ended the.
I know. I was there.
The event early because there was that much rain. It started to form massive lakes of on the circuit, and but yeah, I was the only one that bought rain tyres, so that sort of like cheating me was like, this micro is quick.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'm going to smash the field this year. And then we went to Brands Hatch and I got absolutely. I had my arse handed to me 7 times over, and I ended up dead last by about 5 seconds. But I was like, you know what, I'm doing this, and it was actually a cracking time. But I think too many people, because there's when you go to Quick 60 for example, and there's so many good cars there. And like, why are they not in time attack? And I think, and when I spoke to people, it's like, oh, because my car's not ready. I want to forge the engine, or what I do this. And I think people's mistakes when it comes to like time attack is like they spend years perfecting the car to every last detail, and then because they've put all that effort in, they don't want to compete, or what you see most commonly is that you just end up breaking the car for spares, or just worry the cars are competitive. Where if you take my approach, just chuck yourself into the deep and get in there and go, right, okay, I'm 5 seconds
Get the
slower.
basics right and start driving it.
But they go, right, you know, I'm 5 seconds slower, what do we need? Okay, more power. Okay, let's put more power into it. And then when you start putting more power into it, you know, start coming into like aero issues.
We need a better brakes because we can't stop, right? We can't turn. We need this and that.
So I don't think people should spend years building the car to what you know. If it's one of the time attack they want to do it, just enter the car next year as it is.
Yeah.
Take off the axle stands and then develop the car. Give the car what it needs as you progress through the year, rather than just building this balls out car that you just struggle to handle.
Yeah.
And struggle to sort of, you know, maintain and control, I suppose, and then just do it steps at a time.
Also, I know quite a few people who are really not concerned but worried that their car is not going to be fast enough.
No.
And I'm like, well, that's not the sole purpose. You can't just enter your car knowing that you're going to win, because then it doesn't work like that. It's motorsport, you know. There's always somebody who is faster, so you shouldn't be so hung up on like, oh, my car is not fast enough, I'm not going to be competitive. Well, yes, you will be. It's not really sort of about how fast your car is. It's how you approach the whole thing. You can still have as much fun or more fun in the slowest car on the grid. So, yeah, that's the big mistake people make. They literally spend way too much money and time trying to build the car and finish the car. And it's a race car at the end of the day. They are never finished. You can never finish the race car.
No, I mean, a lot of people say to me is like, you know, they don't want to do time attack because it's essentially a posh track day,
which is fair enough.
I guess I can see. You know, I mean, we pay what we pay, 360 quid a round, and they have given us more time this year in the last 2 sessions. So, but you know, on paper you get an hour's for track time, 360 quid. So, I can see their argument that a track day is going to give you, you know, minimum 5 hours, depending on flags.
Whatever you want to do.
For 160 odd quid, depending on whatever circuit you go to. But I think the essence for me is because you are essentially competing with people. I mean, we've all seen it when, you know, we always joke about when we do a track day and, you know, did you compete on the track day? It's like, yes, we did.
Yeah.
P1. What's his name?
Tom Walpole.
Mr.
P1 everywhere.
Mr. P1 in track days taking out Minis and Clios and whatever in his Radical.
Yeah.
But I think we're not door-to-door racing, but I think because we're not door-to-door racing, I think there's a massive respect between all the people in the paddock. You know, people come over and see, you know, but again, it doesn't matter how slow your car is, people come see how you're doing.
I think even though we are technically within each class competing with each other, ultimately you're competing with yourself and your own times.
Yeah.
So because it's not as competitive as door-to-door, because in door-to-door racing you're competing for the position. It's a lot more relaxed and people are a lot more willing to help. Even if you're in the same class and even if you are fast or slow, whatever, you are more willing to help that person with whatever needs to be done, advice or whatnot, even if they are in your class and even if you know that they might beat you, just because deep down you understand that you're ultimately beating yourself time. Because I've heard it time and time again where people answering a question like, what's your goal for this or whatever? Everyone wants to be their personal best from last year or the previous time they've been there. And that's everyone's ultimate goal. Like, oh, I want to beat my personal best. You always want to improve yourself. Yes, it's good to be on the podium with one of those cheap AliExpress American, not American. I mean, I don't want to be.
You can't receive.
AliExpress. You all know AliExpress. Yeah. So that really not. It's just, you know, it's a number. It says what position you came in, but ultimately it's, you know, yourself you're competing with. So that's the appeal for me, anyways. But
no, the paddock atmosphere in Time Attack was amazing. Everyone, if you need something, someone's going to have it. Whereas, and imagine if you are door-to-door racing and, well, I don't know.
Saying that, I know other people from other series, like Nick Prong, for example, from his Thunders. He is adamant that the grid in Thunders is the friendliest one. It's the best one. And I've been speaking to SES Delta, the show I've recently visited in Cologne. They're doing Snatters and Saloons, and they were saying, "Oh, our paddock is like the friendliest." So I think it's where you are. Everyone thinks theirs is the friendliest, but obviously Time Attack is the friendliest. Yeah. Which is funny how we started this show with talking to Mr. David Ward, and now we kind of progressed into promoting Time Attack in essence, really. Yeah, there's a discount code for your entry fees. Yeah. I wish that would be nice.
So obviously Dave's here.
Dave.
Is it always going to be about the Mini? Have you got any other cars that you'd, once the Mini's done and dusted?
No, I think no.
I mean, why not a Clio? Clearly they're faster.
Well, we'll find out next year. I think no, because I've gone full circle. I've scratched the itch with the Civic. I've driven the Mini, and I like the Mini. I've driven the different variants of it, and I like the way they handle. I get my fix from like racing, from go-karting and sim racing. I've done a race. I prefer Time Attack.
I know what you mean. I've done a race with
I enjoyed
Fast Day.
Yeah,
we were the same. Yeah, we were the Croft.
You did really well.
As enjoyable as it was just too. I mean, obviously, maybe with more practice and with more seat time, where you get used to people literally just completely disregard any sort of safety and just jump in front of you. But for me, that was the scariest part, and I just didn't want to. Obviously, it's not your car. You don't want to beat it. You don't want to have an accident. But for me, it's more enjoyable for some reason just to be sort of left alone and just race your own time rather than other people, because it was a little bit too hectic, and I was just constantly worried, as fun as it was, but also it was really tiring to be in the car for an hour like non-stop.
Yeah, so I think the one thing that I had was challenging for me was the time in between qualifying and then you could end up waiting 3-4 hours before you go and do your race. Whereas Time Attack, it's like
it's really set throughout the day. Yeah, so we have like 2 hours in between. Obviously, lunchtime is longer.
I know Adam, who does my tyres in some races he's done. You've got to be there for scrutineering before 9 o'clock to get through the scrutineering bay.
And then you race at like 5 in the evening.
Yes, and then the race is 5 o'clock in the evening. It's like, it's such a long day.
Exactly the same what happened at Quick 60, wasn't it? We did whatever our thing.
Yes.
And then we, in my class, because we had to sit out
Quick 60
4 hours.
They just need to sit down and figure out that whole buy run thing, because everyone's paying the same amount of money.
Yeah, because I missed out on 3
and essentially, because you got a slower car, you're going to get twice as many runs as what we did. And then let's not go into the whole fucking retro ride parade lap thing either.
Yeah. It was fun. We got the seat time. It was all sorted. I mean, so good event. We're definitely doing Quick 60 again, guys. Highly suggest. I mean, if you don't know what Quick 60 is, me and Eden have videos on our channel, so just go search Quick 60, just put it in by Retro Rides. Brilliant event.
I'll try and join you.
Yeah, it's in short, it's a bit of a hybrid event, because it's organized by Hill Climb Monsters. You probably all know Hill Climb Monsters. They do all sorts of hill climb events in Europe and stuff. So this one is more of a hybrid sort of sprint and hill climb type event, held at Mallory Park. So it's on the circuit, but it's not like a sprint where it's just less than a circuit. It's actually more than one lap. So it's a really good event with 60% Quick 60, 60% go through to the next round type thing. So it's elimination rounds. So it's really, really good, really relaxed. Not without issues, obviously, but it's a really young sort of championship. I don't know if they want to grow into championship or as a single event. 10 of the best. You guys need to come with me to 10 of the best.
That's what I'm going to do.
It's probably the highlight for me during the race season, because it's just such a amazing sort of relaxed weekend, because not only, again, 10 of the best, as the name suggests, 10 of the best. Actually, I don't know why is it 10 of the best, Because it's never been 10 like
I
a
thought it was a GTR Festival UK.
Yeah, 10 of the best. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's basically a three discipline event. You have handling circuit, you have a drag race, quarter mile, and then you have a top speed run, which is a half a mile top speed run. And then you have three classes: front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, four wheel drive. And you can compete in any of them, or all of them, or just one, or whatever you want to do. And you don't have any set times, nothing. You literally, everything is open. So you just go, queue up, do your run, and they time you. And then there is like a thing, whatever. And on the final, on a Sunday, because it's two-day event, Saturday is essentially just practice, just for fun. Obviously, you get onto the thing, but Sunday is the actual one. And then at the 1 o'clock, I think, just before lunchtime, is a cutoff for your sort of qualifying times. And then they put the sort of the best drivers through to the sort of the final, which is elimination rounds. And it's fun. I won it this year outright, the whole thing. How it happened, I have no idea, but I won the handling circuit for 3 years in a row. It's brilliant because the whole weekend you arrive on a Friday and it's like a big... It reminds me of Race Wars from Fast and the Furious, literally, just because there's music and everyone is drinking and drunk and there's like big things and sound and people sort of revving their cars. It's really, really, really social. So it's not like any of the time attack events. Yes, we go and we stay the circuit, but it's always...
Just describing our pit garage at every event.
Yeah, but this is like, literally. But it's a lot of fun, and we usually go with a big group and barbecue and all that. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm trying to sell you this event. I mean, it doesn't need selling. So yeah, definitely join me. It will be neat. Are you planning to do any European events at all?
Maybe not next year. I think that's something that I can't do it next year because I've got finish this bloody car off, get it through time attack, work it all out. Maybe next year. I think there's a thing. There's the FIA Hill Climb Championship, and the way that they do their power regs. Like there's a formula for it. I can't remember what it's called now. I remember just looking at it and I was like, okay, so that might be something that I might be interested in going to that, because you watch it on some of the YouTube, some incredible tracks that they run up. Go and do some hype.
Well, we thought about doing the Ironman sprint, hill climb sprints. I think.
Oh, what have we not thought about doing? Literally, the plan is.
Well, that's for future one, because this video is about Dave.
It's about Dave.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go and do, again, maybe not next year after, just because the car's going to be new and trying to figure it out. But would like to go. You went to that event in Germany,
right? Yeah, Time Masters,
and then maybe some European ones. And the dream, I don't know whether it would ever happen. Would like to do World Time Attack, but I'd also like to go to Scuba and run.
Scuba.
Yeah. And run on that circuit.
For Pikes Peak, that's probably the pinnacle for me.
Really?
I don't know, because I've known about Pikes Peak the absolute longest. It's probably the one that because I used to play the Gran Turismo game, one of the first ones when I first came 20 years ago, and you have the Scudo Pikes Peak, so you know what Pikes Peak is from literally before you even know all the F1 circuits, before you even anything else. So I've known about Pikes Peak for like
that's
quarter of a century.
That's the home of Time Attack. That's where it was created.
So
but it's just right now
it's expensive. All of this is expensive, especially with Brexit. Thank you. You voted for this. Going abroad to Europe is not as easy as it used to be.
We have thought about doing with our potential new partner for the cars.
Yeah.
They would like us to do Zandvoort and Assen in Netherlands. And Zandvoort isn't a good. Only if it's an ideal hour to the ferry, across the ferry, and the track's an hour on either side.
Yeah, the complication, is the carnet thing that you need to sort of essentially create.
I don't think the carnet thing is an issue, because.
No, it's not an issue. It's just an extra layer of complication. You can't just like before you just jump on a ferry and you go. Like a track day to Nürburgring or whatever.
Yeah,
now you need to pre-plan everything, and it's a little bit more.
It's just a huge amount of work to get something like that.
No, it's just...
the carnet process, was dead simple. 400 and... Bear in mind, I did leave mine to last minute, so I was kind of forced to pay all of the express fees that they had, but I think it came like 460 odd for them.
But that's for a year, isn't it?
That's for a year.
Do you want to elaborate what carne is for the viewers? What are we talking about?
So a carne is basically an official document which describes in absolute detail, for the most part, of the goods you are travelling with. So basically, it's a passport essentially for the goods that you're travelling with. So you basically you use the carne to sign the goods in the country you're travelling through, and then you use the carne to sign the goods out of the country you're travelling through. And the idea behind it is if you take your race car into a country and you decide to sell it while you're there, you've got no issues selling it for the most part. But they're gonna basically, if you arrive back at the port without it, and without, I mean, when I went, they even asked me to put all the serial numbers for the GoPro. So, essentially, if I sign the GoPro into the country, I've got to sign it back out. If it's not there when I sign back out, I've got to pay taxes on the value of the item. But especially for race cars, which don't really have a logbook and stuff, you're kind of forced to have one, because without any official documentation for the vehicle. Again, I don't think I needed one, because I do have a valid V5 for the car, but I think I just got a bit scaremongered into getting it. I mean, the carne office didn't even want to sell me it. I explained to them in detail what I was taking, what I was carrying, what I was doing, and then I was like, well, you don't need it. Officially, you don't need it because the car's in your name. It's got a VIN number. You've got a number plate for it. All matches. It's all yours. You don't need a carne. And to back that up, actually, when we come back from Germany into the Hook of Holland before we got on the ferry, they were extremely confused of why we were there and why we had a carne. So I don't think there's really any sort of like official.
Yeah, it's a difficult. There's so many conflicting.
It's better to have one,
Yeah.
though.
Better to have and not need than need and not have, kind of thing. Yeah. Because last thing you want to do.
Because there's a
turn
guy
around.
in time with that chat, Ross. But his last name exits my head, but he has a
Thompson? No, Ross.
no Ross something like that.
Yeah, we
He's got-
apologise, Ross, if you're
Yeah,
watching this.
he actually rang me when it was on about the carne in the time of that chat, and he bought an Impreza, the 800 something horsepower Impreza from Netherlands. It dominated the Dutch Time Attack Championship for years. He bought the car, brought it over. He brought it over, did a dyno run, I'm guessing, to maybe just sort of confirm the power figures it was doing. And then the car unfortunately blew up on the dyno. So the company he bought the car from said they would rebuild the engines. Obviously not had it that long, and because I don't know how he got the car in the country. He might have done it the proper way, but basically he loaded the car on the back of a flatbed truck and drove to the port, drove to the other side, and when he got to the I think it was on the Dutch side, they seized the car, they seized the transport, and if I remember correctly, he had to pay, I think, £8,000 as like a bond to release the vehicles from impound. And obviously he then took the car to be repaired, and I think he then had to present both the truck and the car back at the docks again to get the bond done. But I also think there was a time limit on that as well, so it wasn't just the fact that you had to give the £8,000 bond or whatever it is. They gave you a time limit to basically apply for the bond back. But yeah, probably a bit too much detail. I don't really know in detail, but the car is a simple thing to do. It's just a ball ache, really.
Yeah.
Like you said, we could cross the border willy nilly. Wearing features outfits, bringing Alta wine in from France.
Yeah.
Max and Paddy reference there for those who watch Max and Paddy. And now it's just not as simple. But I've heard,
now you have to plan it ahead,
yeah,
which is all doable.
I've heard going through France is much more difficult than going through Holland. I think the Holland just don't really give a fuck, whereas the French are just French.
The frog munchers. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So
Nice and inclusive.
yes, that's inclusive. It's a favourite circuit, Dave, in the UK.
Brands Hatch.
Brands Hatch.
In Brands Hatch Indy.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually do like Brands Hatch Indy. It's like it's really enjoyable for me.
A lot of people absolutely hate
Yeah,
it.
I know.
I have to admit, the first year I did that, I did not really like the idea of their own Brands Hatch because, to me,
It's far for you as well.
yeah, it's not just that. You look at the map of the circuit on Google Maps, whatever. It's just like it's a kidney beating shape.
Yeah.
It wants to be a bit boring.
But it's so much more than that.
It does have its challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, the first year, I don't like Brands Hatch because that first year when I had 130 horsepower and the closing, and that was the same year that they combined the classes. They put the club and club in the same one. My 130 horsepower micro was in the same section.
Together with other 40 competitors. Yeah.
Like 400 or 500 horsepower cars and stuff. So the closing speeds were extremely difficult for me that year. But no, Brands Hatch is a good circuit. I have grown to really like Brands Hatch. It's challenging in its own way.
That's it. I think Paddock Hill, Surtees, and Clearweights. They're the bits where you're gonna make climb up, like Druids and that lot. Yeah, maybe there's different.
I've always struggled with Graham's Hill.
Graham Hill.
Yeah, avoid early.
I think it's.
Eden was gonna put the little map with all the corner names because I still struggle with corner names. Every time somebody in and out starts talking, I'm like, I need to Google it. So here's a map here, just so you know.
10, 1, 10, 2.
Well, what about your second best?
I'm gonna say Donington is my second favourite. Interesting.
That ain't Donington.
Really?
Well, my car's always broke at Donington, so I've just never had a good experience there. The car's always never finished the bloody final session.
Yeah, Donington's good. I think it's got that elevation and that change. And I guess if you're gonna ask me my third one, it's probably Autumn.
Okay. So not Cadwell. I love Cadwell.
Yeah,
Cadwell is definitely one of them.
I haven't been. So last year I didn't do the first two rounds were at Cadwell. The year before there was double header at Cadwell. I didn't go. Yeah, and I've got I love the track. It just doesn't love me. So I steer well clear of it because
I guess the circuit is pretty tight compared to all the other circuits.
If you look at it, I can't believe we rate like there's actual races on that track.
It's really narrow, isn't it?
Yeah. Really narrow.
Yeah.
But also really rewarding. So
it's like the layout and everything is amazing.
Yeah. The elevation just does it for me as well. Just like sometimes going up and down is just it's just incredible.
I know why they call it a mini move. But yeah. I think we've got one round this year.
Yeah, unfortunately, one round next year.
All right. Another question. We can actually, you know what? If you like this kind of blitz where towards the end, because we've been talking for like a good 50-something minutes, press enter. Hold on, card full. Okay, so I guess now we know that a 2 GB card is not enough for those things. So now actually the sound is only coming from.
This Adobe doesn't have a bit of software which would make it sound a bit better. So what's it doing?
AI voices. Cigar? Oh, it's going to give us. Oh, I thought he was going to give us proper. Like.
No, that was a plan for me. I wasn't planning to do this today, and he was like, "Yes, let's do it today."
You make it sound like I'm the one who constantly pushes things to be done.
Oh, well, Dave, what was you coming to sell on my car today? Just to record us, right?
Yeah.
And who asked you to do the whole car?
The boss man.
The fucking Russian. The plan would be is that when the mezzanine floor goes in, is we're going to have basically a semi-permanent.
Maybe we redo this. And it's all. That
Well,
we're going to be into the mezzanine.
Our original plan would be is that if we. The way I want to have there, so like, you know, where the micro is lift, is if you're willing to bring your car for an hour's chat, which I don't think fucking many people would want. They bring the car. Is we could put the car and lift it up, and then it could literally be the backdrop behind us. But yeah, we're going to basically have like a permanent place up there, and we'll get a proper thing and proper microphones, the headsets, and whatever.
But yeah, that was just before the microphone died. Would you like us to do this sort of blitz where towards the end we can just ask sort of a series of quick questions where the viewers, the guests will answer? My other question was, apart from obviously the Micro and the Clio, what's your other favorite? Obviously you can't pick yours car from the paddock.
Favorite car in the grid.
Favorite car on the grid.
Favorite car in the paddock.
I mean, we can include ours, but then it's almost like you can't.
Per class or just.
You can do overall. What's your favorite?
Well, pro extremes, that'll be hard to pick.
Well, can it be competed ever or?
Do both.
You know what?
Do both. You know what?
Yeah,
Let's do that.
So
all-time favorite.
What is the car that pops in your head when you
without a shout?
Out?
Gobstopper 1, without a doubt, that was, for me, entering Time Attack, that was the hero car.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a really good video on YouTube by Clash Productions, and they do it's not an intro, but it's
Was it always driven by Ollie Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did Roger Clark Motorsport.
No, I know, but there's...
built it, and he's always driven.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is definitely legendary, so it's...
Yeah, on a whole other level, that thing.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to any of the other cars.
Oh, of course.
Because if you look, you got CPR, you've got the imports as well.
Yeah.
And then, Steve Guglielmi in the Lotus, like back in the day, he had a wicked Lotus. I don't know where he is or what he's doing now, but come back to time.
But that's actually a very valid thing, because I mean, me and Andy Gray were going through old Time Attack videos from like 2016, 2015, 2014, a bit when they did the live stream and they did do like a bit more production.
The live stream.
And you look at all the cars in the paddock there, and like there's only like one or two that's still existing in the championship today. It's like, well, what's happened to all these cars?
And broken for parts.
But yeah, or they sat down
Or just
somewhere.
The problem, the thing is when you go up into that pro extreme level, like Simon Norris, like there's still a group of people that run that car, and when there's me, my wife, and we get a lot of help from Johnny and the boys, like helping, but when you run at that level, you must be seeing it in pro now. It's like you've got to have a group of people.
You start to struggle being one man band.
Yeah. Which going on the subject of group of people, I think in our particular paddock and garage situation this year, there's been one fucking rising star at every event.
Oh yeah, do we want to name him?
Yeah, AJ.
Yeah, Mr. AJ.
He's
literally.
Yeah, and not just now, not just in our pit garage. If we're not out, AJ's up and down the paddock doing tyre pressures and stuff. So
he helps.
So you get to the point where,
but if you've got a good, the paddock's good, and everyone helps, because you share the garages and whatnot, and everyone helps each other and wants you to go faster and whatnot. But yeah, when you gain up into that higher level, you can't just rock up with a car on a trailer, drive it off and run it. You've got to, go through suspension, you've got to check all the other stuff with camber. It elevates each time you go up a bit within the class, which is fine because it's competition.
I don't think people sort of understand how hard competition the car. I know in our first year, the amount of times that it was like when the car's finished the event, the car's fine to rock up in 4 weeks' time next event, and you just don't realise that your control arms come loose, your board joints come loose, and you rock up the event, and then you're checking the car over. It's like, oh shit, we need a lower control arm, but we didn't rig one. So I mean, so we found it extremely important that after the event, you go through the car with a fine tooth comb to make sure that doesn't happen again.
There's a lot to be said for having just a simple car sometimes.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Exactly. Just turn up and drive that. I think there's a couple of people that have been like driving them to and from the track.
Oh yeah.
I did that for a year, and then we did. It was horrendous. We drove all the way from Kent up to Alton Park in the white Civic.
Yeah,
9 hours in heat, and I said to the wife, and she was in the BMW, so she was in the support vehicle, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. We're just getting a trailer. Because it was caged, had to wear bugs. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
You things, and then, I'm getting older, and it just...
Track cars, they don't make good road cars.
No.
We've all been down that road.
Yeah.
All regretted it.
Yeah. You think, this is a really good idea, I'm going to do...
No. For 5-10 minutes, maybe once in the blue moon to just show off and just have a little hoon, maybe. To take a car to a competitive event like that, no, it's not a good idea.
But I think everyone does it.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you tell them.
Everyone's
Nobody's gonna listen. Be like, what are you talking about? I'm not pussy. You know, I'm local. Yeah, I can handle it.
Even Connor in the Mini, he's like, yeah, I quite like this. But he was taking his missus with him in the car.
Was it?
I think Mark will file for a fucking divorce if I decided to take it to circuit in my car.
Probably file for divorce if you just decided to take her to the circuit. She has no interest whatsoever. I've never met her.
A condition of marriage is that I want to take her for a couple of laps around Cadwell, and it's basically a flat no. So I am looking for a new wife. There's any invitations.
You are now.
It's
yeah.
Well, my missus races.
she had quite a bad accident this year. Everything's fine.
Yeah, and the year she's in the MX-5 series and started at the back, but she'd been doing a load of sim racing beforehand. So 2 years in sim racing. First year, the first week or so was hilarious because she couldn't get out of the pits on the sim, and then she's slowly progressed, and she was racing in the MS UK Radical series that's on iRacing. She raced them out last night, and she did okay. But yeah, then she was like, I want to go racing. And it was like, what do you want to drive?
Mate, she's a keeper.
Well, yeah.
She's a keeper. I mean, it just means that you have to work. I mean, you double as hard to be able to afford this lifestyle with two people wanting to race.
Yeah, but she's going to do it next year. She had the big crash.
Yeah.
I think that's inevitable. I think in sport, you're going to have that.
If you don't crash, you don't push hard enough. As simple as that.
I think she was pushed
I
off.
don't.
Well, that's a very different one.
It wasn't her. It wasn't her fault.
Fair enough.
But yeah, she took it on the chin, and she's getting back on the horse. She was back out on track day a couple of weeks ago, testing at Donington. So yeah, hopefully it'll go a little bit better, and then just progression. So, but really proud of her for taking that challenge on, because that ain't easy at all.
So what was this question you were answering? Literally that took 15 minutes. I forgot. Was it the fastest, the favorite car?
Oh,
That was the last question.
Yes.
Well, the favourite car.
Which she answered it was Golf Stop.
Golf Stop. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Who's from this season? Who's the biggest cunt in the paddock?
Lighter than that.
It's only sorry. We'll bring
Clearly.
the name out.
Yeah. Clearly can't use us.
There's no one. I don't think I have any.
You don't have any beef with anyone. Nothing.
They might have beef with me, but I still love them.
What's your beef?
Fair enough.
Biggest pet peeve in the championship. What's a bit that really annoys you?
Paper straws.
Paper straws.
What's bad about
What would you improve? What would you improve at time?
Live stream.
I would like to see the live stream back, but I can imagine there's
The public have spoken.
whatever the costs are.
I
think it was a deal. I don't know what happened with it, whether not enough people wanted it or not, but yeah, it'd be cool to have that back, I think.
Well, as far as we know, the live stream before is basically been sponsored by a sponsor, paid for by the sponsor, and then that sponsor is no longer with us, and there's nobody else who wants to basically pay the bill, and apparently it's expensive.
Well, hopefully it comes back at some point.
I think it's an essential part of any championship race. I mean, even though some of the lower ones you see they all have live streams, so surely it cannot be that expensive. And it's just important. It's also important for the sponsors. It's important to promote the sport. It's important for your friends and family to view what you actually do. So it's just, or even for yourself, just to see what has been happening. Kind of. It's unfortunate, but yeah, we can't do anything about it. We're not the organizers. We can just spread the word and point some fingers. Yes, you get us the live stream.
Is there any talk about like the being able to fund it with increased entry? I don't know.
I think they wanted to increase entries to 400 quid per entry.
By 400 quid.
So to 400 quid. So it gone from 360 to 400 quid.
Well, mine is already for 30 or something, or for 40.
So basically,
It's an extra 40 quid.
40 quid.
Which I would have paid. I would have paid easily.
But at the same time, Time Attack's also meant to be a budget accessible motorsport, and from what I know, what other people pay to do race series, I think we're still pretty lucky in that aspect. I mean, we're not all-store racing, so I imagine the licensing and risk assessment and insurance is slightly less because we're not battling for a position on the circuit where you're qualifying for a time and there's less risk.
So hopefully it comes back in one form or another. That'd be really good.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean we've got a plan in motion for next year.
We're trying to execute it in some sort of respect, but it's proving to be a little bit more complicated than we thought.
Yeah, it's team issues.
Yeah.
Again, that's just going to revolve around Adam, not everyone else really. Yeah. Bit of USP for the partners next year, for sure. So the live stream would be nice, because again I have a lot of friends and family who don't travel. They don't really like cars. They don't really get it, but they will quite happily
watch you, for example, do a final. The 15 minutes they can spare. Yeah,
especially like last year going through all the live streams when the mic was on, and you see that in like the chat replay, my wife and everyone else commented on there. So that was nice. But as we'll probably get in a future interview, Time Attack is extremely difficult to commentate for, and it's difficult to capture the action because in racing there's always going to be that battle for position, so you can focus the attention on that particular battle. Whereas in Time Attack, it's like here's Dave Ward on the fast lap, and then couple corners later you come to traffic.
And he's still on the fast lap. Yeah.
I mean. The other thing as well is obviously when you do get some new drivers in there who don't sort of have the driver etiquette, as I'd probably say, and then they probably don't get out of the way in the corner, it ruins your lap, and
But that is Time Attack.
I know, but what I'm saying is that from a live stream point of view, let's say they decided to focus on you because you've come past the start finish, you've got your headlights on, they go, right, David Ward's on a fast lap, let's focus the cameras on him, and then 3 corners later you had to board because someone's got in the way. Most likely Will Bobfield, because he never gets out of the way of anyone. And then someone, they've tried to focus all that on you, but then they've had to abort it halfway through because you reported it should happen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know Alexi does find it difficult to commentate on it, and we are going to have Alexi on the home week for each time.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see his view on the side of things.
Well, I think we need to sort of try and wind this thing down a little bit. It's been going on for a long time, which I think, personally, it went really well. It was really sort of effortless for us to talk. If you will, please, if you can leave us some comment, what would you like to see from the future ones? Are you even going to watch this? Have we done anything completely taboo and wrong and you don't want to see in the postcard? In this podcast. Let us know because we want to learn and maybe, we'll improve for the future. David, thank you so much for coming. Would you like to thank any sponsors, anybody you want to thank? This is your chance. The world is watching.
Massive thanks to Sussex Road and Race. I think the boys and girls there have been really over the last 2 years and helped out quite a bit. And also my missus putting up with me.
Also motivational pit crew.
Oh yeah, that was. We're going to do a infomercial on that for everyone. How to motivate your driver.
What was it like? You have a second now. Go.
Yeah. You're slower. Get faster. Slam your
I'm going to see it slower to the first.
yeah, she's been amazing. Really supportive of me just tinkering with the car and stuff, and yeah, generally being as competitive, or if not more competitive than me, sometimes at the events, which is good. So yeah, and yeah, everyone in the paddock. Everyone's been super welcoming every time. Everyone's always up for a chat. The banter's good. So
Banter's amazing.
the banter's good. Like that, I think that's what other than the car and the competition and stuff. It's like that's what helps. It helps keep me wanting to keep coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for helping, well, practically doing this scanning today, because I wanted to learn and I've learned quite a few things, but you practically done the whole thing on Eden's next build, which I'm sure you'll see from the videos on Eden's channel. That leads me into another thing. So yeah, I am Rusky. My channel is at the bottom, because obviously this is on new. And this is Eden Gisfab, and his channel is there as well. So go and watch us build our
Also,
cars.
Dave has a channel which will be in the middle, so go make sure you check that out.
Also,
That
OnlyFans account. I mean, racing is not free. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your,
So you know.
and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. That was good. That was good. It was effortless. Really good chat.